What is up, everybody? You'll have to pardon my awkwardness for right now. I'm getting back to YouTube after being gone for a very long time. I have way too much to catch up on, way too much to explain about why I'm here now and where I came from before. So if you're just tuning in to this channel, the best I can give you is once upon a time, I was in a career that I was no longer happy in. I was working in entertainment. I was working in film, actually, and I'd reached like the close to the top of the ladder of where I wanted to be. I was a production designer in film, which pretty much means concept art, environment design, costume design, just design, and also a tiny little bit of blueprinting and carpentry and construction and all that kind of stuff. You got to be very crafty and handy, at least for independent film. A lot of the times the jobs get split between art directors and production designers. Most people in indie film industry don't know what the hell the difference is. So you end up doing a lot of different things. So anyways, it was an awesome job, but it really kind of soured my feelings about the industry and about the idea that was what I wanted to do. Because, again, once upon a time, I've been making comics and art since I was a kid. A lot of people say you shouldn't your art shouldn't define you. It shouldn't be, your art is not you. Your comics are not you. I completely disagree. That's fine for them, but for me, that is not the case. Art, even comics, storytelling, visual storytelling, has been an intrinsic and inseparable part of me since as far as I could remember, and as far as my parents can remember as well. I've always communicated visually, and I was a talker. I started talking very early and got really accustomed to telling stories as well. Inseparable part of me. Anyways, I always wanted to be making comics, but when it came time to be an adult, pick a career, go to college, all that, I talked myself out of it because comics weren't what they are now. Comics kind of go like this. They're never very stable for very long. They've been more stable now for an extended period of time than I think they've ever been in the history of the medium. This has been a very long winning streak for comics, or at least comic IP. I don't know if you could say the same about the books themselves. Some argue both ways. I don't personally know. But back to my point. Always wanted to be doing comics, did not decide to do comics for career. However, I have learned in my old wise age, which some of you might be older than me, I assume a lot of you might be younger than me. Either way, the wisdom remains true. If you're meant to do something, I mean really meant to do it, you're going to do it anyways. And if you don't invite it into your life comfortably, it will come out destructively. And what I mean by that is, if you want to be making comics and you're not finding a way to fit it into your life, it's going to wedge itself into your life and it's going to force itself. And that's going to possibly create some difficulties, whether that be at work or at home or in personal relationships. Sacrifices are going to have to be made that aren't being allotted for in your life. They aren't being announced and made clear. Now, if I'm a comic artist, an illustrator, an artist in general, and I do art all the time, and my friends and family know, oh, this is him. This is a part of his life. This is what he does. Hey, Mike, you want to come out to this party? Oh, no, sorry. Today is my blank day. Today is my studies day or whatever. It's Wednesday. I always do a life drawing class on Wednesday. I'll have to catch up with you later. Or my family says, hey, we're going to be in town this weekend. What are you doing Saturday? Saturday. You know what? I can meet you after 12 o'clock because from 6 a.m. to 12, that is my comic time. That's the only time during the week that I have to work on my comic, and that's when I do that. If people know these things and they're a part of your life, then it's fine. That's just like saying, oh, sorry, I have to work that day. Or, oh, we're running errands. We're, for the baseball game on Tuesday. It's the same as saying that. If you're not clear about your intentions, you're not sure about yourself and who you are and what it is you're trying to accomplish, then those things become a problem because it's like, what do you mean you're spending time on your comics? Since when do you make comics? What are you even talking about? No, you need to be at this game on Saturday. We're playing against whatever. I don't know what the hell it is you're talking about, but you got to show up. Or you'll get, hey, can you pick up this thing for me? I know you're at home right now. Can you run a quick errand and get some milk before I get home? I'm pretty sure we're out of milk." You got to go and get that milk because your time is not accounted for. You're not a comic artist. You're a dude who, for some reason, once in a while makes comics. People don't understand that, and they don't respect that as much as when it's plugged into your life. Anyways, I don't know why I felt the need to go on that little tangent. Let me get back to why I'm here. I'm doing the challenge again because, long story short, this challenge changed my life. Back in 2015, I was doing a career that I was soured on, as I'd mentioned. This challenge showed me that, hey, that thing that you actually love, if you make time for it regularly, you can actually do it, which is kind of the point that I was trying to make with that last little nugget of wisdom that I was sharing with you. It showed me that by showing up every day and spending just that 30 minutes a day, that one, it adds up. Two, if you do it consistently, it builds habits. And three, if you put those two together, oh my God, magic things can happen. And for me, fucking fireworks lit under my ass, and it changed my life. Complete 180. I used the challenge 2 more times after that. I did it 3 total times just for my own sake of self-improvement. So I used it for comics to get up and work every day, to break my terrible habits. Also to fit it in while I was already doing other work at the time as well. I was working on a stop motion animation project for a small company in, I'm not going to say where they were. The bridge was burnt. We had a little bit of falling out. I don't want to make it a public thing. But anyways, so I was working on this in between that, on the side. Well, eventually it took over because, like a lot of things, when you keep doing them in little chunks, they add up and they build and they snowball. Well, it got to a point where my wife and I sat down and we were talking about it, and we were like, I love this, and this is actually going really well. If I were to start selling, say, prints or t-shirts or whatever of these things that I'm doing, I think with enough effort, there's an upward trajectory here. What do you think about that? So rather than jumping immediately onto another gig after the stop motion ended, like I had done previously, I didn't. For the first time in oh my God, I can't even remember actually, a really long time, since I was a kid probably. This was what I was doing, and it was working. I was very close to making a living doing this. Not a great living, but a significant living. It was paying for itself, and I was investing the money that I would make from my art back into my art to buy things like a better monitor, a better printer, programs, books, resources, materials, whatever. It was paying for itself, and I had finally gotten into the black, which is like a good place to be in business. You want to be in the black. You don't want to be in debt. And I was starting to get into the green and actually making a profit. I actually had to start filling out tax forms. It's a good place to be. And then the worst happened. My hand completely shit out on me. And by that I mean it was very damaged and broken. I was doing a show at the time with my buddy Gaz Gretzky, Gaz Bot, as he's known online. You should check him out. Great dude. Super influential and inspirational in my journey into this phase of my life. Also just a very cool guy and a good friend. Anyways, we were doing a show and my hand essentially broke on me. I couldn't draw anymore. I couldn't write anymore. I couldn't hold a jar, couldn't hold a coffee mug, couldn't open stuff. My hand was also over the months was kind of put into this position. It was like becoming a claw was the resting pose of my hand. So whatever. I'm going to fast forward through all this. I got into a very deep, dark depression. It was terrible. Went to the doctors. They didn't know what to do. They shot me with electric needles and stuff to do tests and blood tests and this and that and whatever for months. Couldn't figure it out. 6 months went by and I hadn't drawn a damn thing. I had stopped drawing. My life had come to a halt. I became a very bitter, angry person. I started doing Uber as a side job because I couldn't do anything creative anymore because I had a claw for a hand, which wasn't conducive to any other work that I had previously known. I couldn't go back to film. I couldn't go back to anything. I needed my hands. This was my selling point. I can't go to a producer or whatever and say, hey, this is what I do, and then not do it. this is what you would pay me for, but by the way, I can't do it. It doesn't work like that. So I was doing Uber, getting very miserable. Fast forward several months later, I'm in physical therapy. They helped me a ton. They actually finally figured out what was going on. It was severely strained tendons and muscles, tendinosis. Basically, tendinitis' big bad asshole of a brother. Just my arm was ripped to shreds. It was horrible, and it needed to heal. Because of the damage, the other muscles were having to compensate, so I had knots in my forearm. It was crazy. The way it was explained to me was it was basically like a runner running a marathon every single day for their whole life, never stretching. And you get older, and at some point the muscles get weaker, and if you're not conditioning them properly, they break. They get strained and they break, which is a bad thing. And then you have to grow new tissue, and it has to, whatever. It was terrible. So I'm not going to get into all the nitty gritty of everything that happened after that, but pretty much things snowballed. And it's been a year, okay? It's been a year. A lot has happened between, so much that I've tried to make this video a couple times, and it's ended up being like a half hour. I'm not going to make a half hour video. Suffice to say, I'm not in a great place now. My wife lost her job, which, if you consider what we're doing here, taking a chance with me trying to make my living with this stuff, you consider that I have not been drawing very much at all for a year, and was just starting to get back into rebuilding habits, getting my skills back up again and sharpened so that I could actually make products that people want to buy. Nobody wants to buy my bullshit, rehab drawings. And this was a difficult period for us where, well, I mean, I don't want to put it that way. It wasn't difficult. We're out of debt now, or we're getting out of debt. We're not in want of anything. We're comfortable. We don't need anything right now. But my wife losing her job was significant. That meant we had to move because our lease was going to be up. So we packed up. I had to take on the brunt of that whole endeavor. Get back to work, shoulder the brunt of moving us from A to B, because she was devastated. She was not here right now. She'd been at that place for like 12 years. It was a great job too. So we've moved very far away. We've moved down south. I'm completely away from my friends and family and everything that I've ever known and loved, into a completely new place. And we chose this place because it's cheaper to live down here. And regardless of whatever job she would get, I'm actually finally able to support us with just my comic work. I've got some comic jobs coming up in the fall, one of which is with a good friend, the other of which is with somebody that oddly enough, I worked with in the film industry. I worked for him on my first feature film, which is funny how that comes full circle like that. Like, whatever. It's a fun story. I'll tell it sometime. But yeah, I'm finally at a place where that's going to become a reality again, but it's stressful, and I'm finding it very hard to unlearn all the nasty, bad, negative habits that I learned in my darkest hour when I had no use of my hand and thought my life was over. I learned how to be angry and resentful and dwell on things and be super extra negative. I learned how to do all of these amazing, wonderful things, and so I'm trying to unlearn all of that too. These are sort of byproducts of being depressed and going through a traumatic experience. You pick up some things that maybe you should let go of, and I'm there. I'm definitely there. Could definitely use some self-improvement again, which is why I'm here. I said I was never going to do the challenge again. Whatever, fuck it, it works. And if it works and it ain't broke, don't fix it and do it again. I don't know, something like that. So I'm back. I'm going to play a little thing here while I go and talk a little bit about what I'm up to. So forewarning, this is going to be possibly a not safe for work series sometimes, not all the time. It's not my goal to make it not safe for work, but I will be doing studies and not paying attention to whether or not they're appropriate for everybody. That's why I'm flagging my videos as being mature. I'm not posting these on YouTube either. These are going to show up on my website, sisyphenecomplex.com, which there's no point in going there yet. It's not done yet. You will not find anything there at this moment. I actually need to redo the landing page so that it doesn't point to anything. But anyways, that being said, this is my comic. I will explain more about it as time goes on. I'm in love with this character. I'm in love with this world. I'm in love with this story. This is all that I've been thinking about for the last 3 years, and I just need this comic to happen. And I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I can make it happen, and so it's gonna happen. And that's the point of this series. I need to wrap up the Hundreds Anthology Book 2. I have one more side of a bookmark to do, and then I can order those and get those books shipped out and finally be done with that. And then I'm going to focus exclusively on Sisyphine Complex for as long as I can until my next job starts up. And then at that point, this challenge will become even more important because I will be doing work for other people and needing to make time for my own. So here we go. Once again, doing the challenge, back at the 100 days. A little bit more worse for wear, a little more rough around the edges, if I'm being honest. I got some demons I'm battling, but I'm hoping that my good old trusty art friend will be with me and help me through this time. And if you want to watch, fantastic. I'd love to have you. I'm making these unlisted, so they're not going to be public. I'm going to share them in the hundreds. I'm going to share them on my website eventually. I'm going to curate out all the ones that are stupid. I don't want to post anything that's lacking substance on my website, so the numbering might be a little crazy by the time they get up there, but they will get up there. So that said, thank you for tuning in. Sorry for this long intro. Just felt like I've been gone so long, I should probably let you know where I'm at. This is where I'm at. It's not a great place. Looking to get out of there. And I'm going to do it one day at a time, bare minimum, 30 minutes a day. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you apparently tomorrow. Fuck, I'm actually doing this. Okay. All right, I'm going to go and try and get some work done, and I will be back with a day one video. All right. Peace out, everybody.